Good evening, everyone. Most of you know who I am. I guess I don't have to introduce myself. We're here for our annual meeting. This is the beginning of the 81st year. This is not a microphone. This is for the TV. You can't hear me?
No.
Mark, if you can't hear me, let me know. Okay, this is the 81st year that we are starting with the Historical Society. Just a little bit of background. The Historical Society came out of a statewide organization in 1936 on the 300th anniversary of Rhode Island. And then a group got together and decided we needed a historical society here. So it started in 1938. And so we are continuing the tradition of that. And our membership is going great. Gary's going to give you the numbers. What I risk up here is saying things that other people are going to say. So I'm going to try to be careful about that. We did have our annual board meeting earlier before this meeting, and two things were decided that I think perhaps you might want to know about. One is that we did approve the budget for 2018-19. Our annual year goes from June to June. So we did approve the budget, and we also approved board membership for the following. Doug and Nancy Smith, Jane Ruggiero, Dave Gleason, and yours truly. So those are the new board appointments. All of whom are continuing on the board. We've got a lot of things going, as you may have heard about, if you've read about it in the newspapers and so on. There's a tremendous amount of activity here and planning going on. Planning for things like hopefully someday having an elevator in this building, having all sorts of activities going on. We have some construction problems that we're working on, like the roof of the town hall out back, and other things that are going on. But we just have really a great team of people, and you're going to meet them all tonight, or half of them anyway, doing all kinds of things to enhance the understanding of history in the town of Portsmouth. And we have a tremendous history. There's so much that goes on here, and really we're doing a lot. And Gary, I might steal Gary's thunder here a little bit, but 2 years ago we had about 60 memberships or so. We now have 450, and so we must be doing something right. And as you may have noticed in the Portsmouth Times the other night, there's a meeting of the Portsmouth Business Association on Wednesday night down at the Glen, and they have decided to honor us by making us the Business of the Year for Portsmouth, which is really a major accomplishment for us, and hopefully we'll get some more really good press out of that. We hope to have, our memberships are about 450. Our members are probably around 600 or so because we have a lot of family memberships and so on. We want 1,000. So please talk it up. I'm sure all of you are members, and talk up your neighbors and friends and everything. It's a pretty good bargain, and we have a lot of activities going on, as Doug is going to tell you just in a few minutes here, of all what we have done in the last year. So I will have some final comments afterwards, but I think I'll give all these other people a chance to talk first, so I don't just say everything that they're going to say. So first I will call upon Dave Foucher, who is our treasurer, and he will give you the annual report for that.
That's good, just like that. Okay. So thank you, Jim. And for those of you who are expecting a lengthy, detailed financial presentation, I'm sorry to disappoint you. There is a financial report, too detailed to put on here, so it's in the back of the room on the chair there, a financial report for the last year's annual report. And I just want to highlight some of the items that are in there. Our checking account, this has all the four accounts that we have: checking, building, trust, and PayPal. The checking account had normal revenues for the past year, except for Rhode Island Historic Preservation and Heritage Commission grant of $30,000 for the exterior painting of the museum, and a state grant of $1,500 to help with the cost of the ADA ramp. Also unusual in the revenue category, under fundraiser events, was income of $7,024 for the Navy Choristers concert. After expenditures for this event, the net income was $5,524, just for that one event. Moving on to the next account, the Checking account expenditures were ordinary except for the payments for the museum painting and the ADA ramp construction. The building account revenues include a $3,000 donation from Rich Lipsky to help with the construction costs of the ADA ramp. The trust account reflects a bequest of $4,488 from the estate of Andrea DeRico. And the PayPal account for online payment of dues and donations includes an expenditure transfer of $3,000 from the PayPal account to the checking account to help pay normal expenditures. The FY 17-18 annual report shows overall net gain in cash of $7,100 across our 4 cash accounts. Overall, all our cash accounts ended the year with a total of $63,367. That's the annual report. Thank you.
Okay, that's really major progress as far as we're concerned. It's really been great financially. We've had a lot of good fundraisers, and things have gone really well. One of the things in terms of events that I just want to mention before Doug comes up and talks about that is that we found a new venue for having lectures this past year. And we've been going down to the Common Fence Point Community Hall, which has really been tremendous. We really were able to, I gave 3 lectures there, and at the first one, we had 107 people. At the second one, we had 130. At the third one, which was a really nasty rainy night, we had about 60, but that's been great. Plus, the Portsmouth Community Players did a play down there, and that was standing room only also. We co-sponsored that. That was really a big thing too. But before I tell about all our events, I'm going to let the GIMP come up here and tell you about the rest of them. Doug just had knee surgery, so.
Yeah, just like to say, so far this year we've had 12 events, and as Jim said, we've had some new venues. They're kind of exciting because we can get a lot of people to come in and watch these things. I think the community theater one, we had something like 165 people, pretty good crowd. The other things that we've done so far that are always popular are the trivia contests, both the ones for kids, which we do down at Gulfstream Restaurant, and the ones for adults, which we do at the Valley Inn. Those are always a lot of fun. We get a lot of people down there, and everybody enjoys themselves. One of the things that we started this year that we hadn't done before, the idea, you know, we always need ideas, new ideas, suggestions from you all and anybody else on what you'd like to see the society do. Well, Carolyn Magnus, our librarian person and also a ex officio member of the board, said, what about a book club? You know, and also in the light round, I said, geez, what a great idea. Book clubs on history books, some of which relate to Portsmouth and the general area. So far we've had 2. The first was on Ann Hutchison, and the second one, Kathy, you had the second one a week and a half ago or something. And how did that go?
I think the attendance dropped from what I heard the one before, so
Yeah.
it's probably everyone there were members, but that's not all bad.
No, it's not bad. It's not bad.
I think that Carolyn had said summertime off and there's a drop off.
Yeah.
But even if our members have these things to attend.
Yeah, and your subject was Julie Ward Howe, as I recall. We've got another one coming up that Gloria Schmidt's going to do in September. It's about this hurricane in 1938. Look around you, you know, we still see the results. Sorry? 7 Seas. You'll be seeing more of this in newsletters and things. On the 17th of July, we're going to have Fred Zillian. He's going to come up in this setting. He's going to give a talk that he's been working on Ann Hutchison, her background, why she's important, et cetera, et cetera. And it's kind of right around the time of we generally consider to be your birthday, which is July 20th. So you'll be seeing more of this stuff. I guess the key thing is we're, as I say, we're constantly looking for new ideas. And we're also looking for new members that want to help put some of these things together. There's plenty of stuff to do. As Jim said, and Jim's a historian, I'm just a average guy off the street, and I think the history is fascinating here. It just never quits. I mean, there's so many great stories. I'll tell you about Colonel Barton's raid some other time. That's my favorite one. Anyway, so we've got a lot of events that we've had already this year. We'll have a lot of several events that we're in the process of planning that are coming up. And I hope you guys will all come out and join us and bring your friends. Again, it's a good reason to have people join the society so they can get the newsletter, they see what's going on. And I think a lot of the stuff, it's all kind of symbiotic. Our finances are up because we do a lot of events. People get a lot of publicity. They see our name in press. This thing with the PBA on Wednesday is going to be great, for example. We've got Gary Gump out there pinging on people to get their membership in. So please be a part of this. We're just, it's all kind of working in sync right now. And as Jim said, it's the people, the folks on the board and the other people that help out. Ann, your work in the genealogy thing at the library is a part of kind of what we do. So anyway, that's enough for me. I'll get back to limping off the stage. But please come down and join us. And if you have any ideas, contact me. Send me an email. Thank you.
Thanks,
I'll limp off.
One thing that happened this summer, this spring actually, and in relation to Ann Hutchinson, was that I got an email message or two from a woman who said that she was the vicar of the church in England where Ann Hutchinson's father had been the minister back in the late 16th century. And she and her husband came for a visit, and I toured them around and had a really delightful day talking to them. It was really, really kind of interesting to make a connection. One of the things she said was really kind of humorous. She said, "We're trying to build up Ann back home because she's not as well known there as she is here." I said, well, you could probably stop most of the people in the street and they would tell you they were related to her. So I think that's that. But that was really special. Okay, so events, again, have been busy and they're going to get busier. We have more ideas. Gary and I were talking the other day. He has about 15 new ideas for us to do, including a bus tour, a historic bus tour around the town, a trolley bus, things like that we want to do. I've done that before, and that's really a lot of fun. So therefore, I will introduce Gary, who's going to talk about memberships and grants.
I don't even have. Anyhow, Gary Gump. I'm the chairman of our membership committee. Our committee consists of Doug, Mr. Smith, and Jane, and myself, and some advice from James here. And so just to, we've already talked about almost everything I had on my little list to talk about here. But basically the goal we have is to get 1,000 memberships. Right now we have about 600 memberships in total. About 450 of them are active, 430, something like that. The balance we're considering inactive because they haven't paid their dues yet, so we just haven't got to them. We're pretty sure they'll pay up. About a third of all the memberships are families, about 200, maybe 250. Another third, maybe 200 are individuals, and then other types of membership levels, patron, corporate sponsorship, and another membership contributor. Thank you. I couldn't remember. Membership dues are $15 for an individual or $25 for a family, so it's not very much. Most people drive by the museum, and if they are members, a lot of times they don't even think about coming in. So part of our goal is to continue to get more publicity, to get more visibility, so people want to be a member and want to come see what we're doing down here. So we're working on doing that through the events committee and some other ideas. Jane, really, she's doing the heavy lifting as far as being the corresponding secretary, getting out all of these membership due cards and new cards you get and all that other stuff, plus our bulk mailings that have gone out and are going out. And so you should be getting those, and she's come to us with a lot of great ideas that I don't think we've been able to implement yet, but we're going to hopefully. When you get done with St. Barnabas, and show of hands for everybody going to St. Barnabas, right? So she's the chairman. There you go. So, okay. Membership, we try to recruit new memberships through direct mail pieces and outreach to our current membership base and potential new members. We have PayPal set up so you can pay your dues over the internet. We're going to be recruiting new members at Clements this weekend. If you come down on Saturday between 10 and 2, you can just wave at us and say, I joined, or I'm a member, if you want, whatever you want to be, or send a friend. Part of the thing that no one has mentioned in this particular episode is that membership numbers, growing memberships, active memberships are important. We're going to grant opportunities. We're going to our town to show the town that we're growing and that it's valuable for the town to continue to support us. And just in general, to keep the momentum going, to show all the things that we're doing here. So your memberships and other members are very important for us. That's a big issue. Recidivism is not the right word, but a lot of us join with all the intentions of joining again, and we forget about it. So one of the things we're trying to do is to come up with a fairly easy way to get out to people, to get them to remember to renew. And the email, the internet is a wonderful tool, but I think sometimes people are reluctant to share their email address because they don't like getting nuisance emails. So we're trying hard to respect that. I think we could be a little more aggressive, but so far that's what we're doing. We have a members-only newsletter, which has a lot of great things in it. It's growing. Every time it goes out, there's something new that we haven't talked about before in it. Some of the items we're talking about in terms of continuing memberships, one of the long-term plans of our building committee and the board is to make this building year-round, make it available year-round, over time, maybe 5 years from now. We don't know exactly how long, but we want to be able to have venues here all through the year. And then in that case, we will have grown to the point probably where we have full-time staff. We have an aggressive group going out getting membership. But your membership's appreciated. We're constantly at work on it, and thank you very much for coming. Yes, ma'am, sir.
On the issue of getting recurring members to sign up again the following year, have you looked at the possibility of doing automatic renewals so that you sign up once, if you don't decline, your credit card will be charged the following year?
Just put that on a list of to-do items. Yeah, I mean, Portsmouth is notoriously tight, so I'm not quite sure how that will work. But I, for one, do that. And that's the only way. I have to lose a credit card occasionally to know what I've got out there, so I can turn it off. But that's a great idea. And we have, in fact, we have to look at the viability, perhaps, of a lifetime membership. I mean, the membership revenues are our year-in, year-out expenses. Not a new roof, not some major capital item. Of that total, our membership revenues are about a third. So they're very important for us. Part of the issue is that we've been traditionally, May and June are the 2 months where all the money comes in, and then there's nothing through the rest of the year. We've just recently moved to change our membership so that basically a new person joins in August, then he's a member until August of the next year. So we can smooth out our membership flow so it'll be a little bit more year-round. But membership revenue is very important for us, and membership volume is important in terms of getting grants. So, thanks. Oh, yes, sir.
So lifetime membership would be very attractive to young folks like me.
Yeah, well, hey, right here with you. But the question is how much? I mean, if our dues were, say, $500 a year, we gave you an opportunity to buy it for 10 grand, would you be interested?
It's a good analogy.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Sorry,
you're
yes.
talking about youth membership. A lot of high school students, for example, history class, might be interested in youth membership.
Could be. So far, that's been an impenetrable group over there for us. I mean, we've, in the 375 organization, we had principals and superintendents and everyone else with us. We had a historical society, a history teacher from the high school on our board for a brief period, but unfortunately, his duties were such that he just couldn't be a real contributor to the board. Yes?
We do get Milko for the PTO, that's PTO, whatever
Right, yeah, that's true.
And they,
Well,
they've been coming every year.
so I have 1,000 ideas. So, we have 20 corporate members, and we're grateful for them, and we're very happy, and we've got a slide that shows who they all are. But we have probably 200 or 300 corporations in Portsmouth. And if we could get, maybe 50 corporate memberships, and if we do a trolley tour and we invite somebody, Clemens or someone, to sponsor the tour, the bus, pay for it, and then you all come along. I mean, there's all kinds of things along that line that we can do. It drives the event committee, so Doug's got to find the resources to go make it happen.
Thanks.
But getting the young adults and the students involved is an absolutely essential part of it. And Gloria, I guess it was you that put that Facebook post up? Today or yesterday, there's a wonderful post on Facebook that shows all the kids in the classrooms.
Well, I try to do it so you can see the kids' faces, but.
Well, okay, okay, it shows
They were
youngsters
here.
in
They
the
were
classroom.
here. No, they were here.
Yeah. No, I know. They were all here.
Yeah, but the pictures are up in the building, yes.
Okay, well, whatever. In any event, we're trying to do it. Thank you very much. And thank you. And, if you have any friends that haven't joined, downstairs there are some application forms, self-addressed envelopes, 49 cents or 50 cents for your stamp. You're in free. That's it.
Just bring it over Sunday when it's an open house.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gary.
Well, it costs 50 cents for the gas to get it.
One thing I was just talking about kids. On Friday, we had about 90-some third graders here from Melville School, and not all at once, fortunately. They came in shifts. They went to other sites as well. So we came, and they toured around. The curators did a great job of entertaining them and getting them to ask questions and so on. And that was a really big thing. And as Gloria said, the Melville Parent-Teacher Group, I guess it's PTG these days, is a patron member of the society. So we've had, and she and Richard have gone to the school every year to talk to the kids before they come here to give them a little bit of an idea of what to expect. So it's hard though. It's hard to get kids in the modern world, as we all know, to put down their game playing and come see some history. But we have good turnouts. We get kids to come and we get various projects going, and we have a project going, a senior project right now by Nathan Manise, who decided that on his own that he didn't like the Battle Rhode Island signs that are around the town because you can't read them anymore. And so he's worked on fundraising and contacting people and so on to do something about that. In addition, as a sidelight, what he did, if you've ever been to Fort Butts, and a lot of people in this town have not been to Fort Butts, there was a great monument that was up there, a granite monument about the battle. And I remember back in 77, 87? Anyway, on the 200th anniversary of the battle, we had quite a bit of ceremony up there, and this beautiful marker was there. It had been there since, I think it's 1923. Anyway, it had fallen down, and somehow this high school student was able to convince the Public Works Department to reset it up again, and he did that, which was really a great accomplishment strictly on his own. So there are some kids getting involved, but we really want to have more, and that's really an important thing to us. So moving on, and I'll again quit trying to steal everybody else's talk, I'll call on Mike Pagliarani, who has a PowerPoint to show us about the buildings and grounds and what we've accomplished buildings and grounds wise over the last year or so.
I'm Mike Pagliarani. I'm the head of the building and grounds committee, and we're a pretty busy little group. We have a committee, a core committee, and then we have friends of the committee, which we'll get to in my presentation. Next one, Dave, please. Yeah, we're pretty much, we maintain these three buildings, which everybody knows the museum, and then the southernmost schoolhouse, along with the old town hall. Plus that includes the grounds as well. That includes flagpoles, trees, grass. We're pretty proud of this accomplishment, which we'll get to how we were able to do that a little later in the presentation. Yeah, just, not that I want to read our whole vision statement. This is where we actually apply to the vision statement. We're pretty much the, maintain a secure and sustainable facility, which is kind of important because, without a facility, you can't, it's your base of operations for most things that come out of the society. In conjunction with the curators, Nancy's committee, we help to, store, maintain, and display the collection by making sure that the display cases are, functional and the shelves are fixed. And once in a while, we get an expert that will actually fix a piece of furniture or restore a piece of furniture. So that's our involvement in as far as our vision statement goes. In a nutshell, what we do is we get involved in the operational aspect of the society. As you can see, it's maintaining all utilities and accessibility, making sure that it's secure. All the fire alarms work, logistics, which is, getting everything that we need to run the place and the grounds. We get involved in repairs and maintenance, preservation, which we talked about, making sure the society is, resistant to the weather conditions we have here in New England. And we get involved in some of the cleaning as well, or setting up the cleaning. As far as capital improvement, this is probably our biggest role because, it sustains the improvements on the society. We plan, we pretty much generate all the requirements, budget, and when contracting is necessary, we even get involved with contracting work. Our community involvement, which we like to think we get involved with a little bit of outreach ourselves, is we've been requested to assess historic buildings. Usually there's one or two building community members on that team. We're there to, assess, the architectural natures or anything salvageable, anything that maybe we could bring to the society that we might want to use for display for posterity. We're participating in the house plaque project, which is kind of an outreach program. David Leeson is kind of running with that, and we'll get to that one as well. Next one, please. Who we are. Again, myself, and if you want to raise your hand just to let people know who you are. Our committee is Dave Duggan, David Leeson, Gary Young. And I call these friends of the building committee because we can't do all this with 4 people. So when we need to reach out to get some help for something, we have all these folks that help us out, which is the PHS board, Bob Watts, very helpful, a lot of ingenuity with Bob. Dave Getzinger, which is on the sign committee that Dave has. Richard Schmidt, although he won't say so, is he helps restore some of the furniture we have. And Rich Lipsky, because he's just generally, he helps across the board. So I call these people friends of the building committee. They're, I want to thank everybody because it's not just the 4 people that you see here. Operationally, what we do is pretty we pretty much are, if you want to, we're like a property management company, if you want to look at that. Anything that's involved with property, we get involved. Making sure we have all our utilities up to speed, as I had said. Property humidity control, making sure the lights are working, all the fire alarm permits. External and internal integrity. We've had some emergency weather situations that we've had to deal with here, and a lot of us are kind of on call. Jim might give us a call, and we have to run out and fix a window, and it might be during a rainstorm. So, assure building physical security, making sure the building is safe. That it doesn't get broken into, and that the alarms work. As far as this year, we've had a very busy year for operational accomplishments. Like I said, we have developed and implemented a pest control program, which I don't think the society ever had. We have special kinds of insects and infestations here. Mice are pretty common. We have powder post beetles in some of our furniture, and we have silverfish, which is not the friend of books and literature, because they tend to eat the glue in the bindings. So Dave Duggan is pretty much running this one. He's going to be
Bob Watts is really
involved.
was a lot this year.
Yeah. Okay, other things, you know, we finally found out where our septic tank is, we never knew where it was. That sounds like a small thing, but that's a big thing when you need to know where that is. Fire inspections, as we talked about, the state required, the fire department requires 2 a year. We participated in pulling some of the furniture moves for the renovations, which is pretty much a big task because, to give you an example, we had to paint the floor of this building and you have to move furniture from one side to the other safely and structurally, so it takes a lot of planning, and that's where the friends of the committee come in. When we plan, we need more people. We make a phone call, we talk at a meeting, and people just come out of the woodwork to help, which is a big thing. Let's see, replaced windows this year. Got cracked, so we have no cracked windows this year. We have a nice security bar in front of the museum that keeps us physically secure and courtesy of all laws. Next. As far as repairs and maintenance, again, busy year. This is pretty much 4 people and friends of the committee helping out. We repaired schoolhouse hinges, painted moldings on the schoolhouse. We arranged for tree removal, 3 trees to be removed. We're coming up with a plan for a roof repair replacement on the town hall, which is a cedar roof. We probably have another year left in this thing, so we put that as our #1 priority for capital improvement. Make sure the place has efficient heating system. We had a pipe freeze this year, and so we had to arrange to get a lot of the pipes replaced. That was not a really fun thing, but we powered through that. We worked through that. Let's see, wall repairs due to leaks that we've repaired. We fixed the town hall barn door, cleaned the furnace room. So these are all small things, but when they add up, what it comes down to is you have pretty much a seamless running building where it's kind of transparent to the board members and the members themselves. So we also provide seasonal maintenance, which is snow removal for winter access, and we do a winterization and a spring turn on. And we spring and fall cleanups, which is more of a community effort. We actually get more people involved in the building cleaning. So, and we help the museum clean. So. Capital improvements. Again, we're very proud of this collectively. We pretty much had everything done on the outside of this building. We had restoration, and probably we're going to get for the next 15 years hopefully. The last paint job lasted 22 years, so if we can get 10 to 15 out of this, it'll be a good thing. Again, the soup to nuts, we did this whole thing. We generated the specifications, the RFPs, the bidders lists. The state really demands a lot out of you when you take their money, so you really have to punch a lot of chips to make that happen. We had open houses, we evaluated the bids, we negotiated with the contractors, we managed the project, tried to get contractors to stay on schedule, make sure that they're doing a quality job, which was a lot of work, just making sure that when they hit a milestone, I try to get somebody out there to take a look at what they did. And museum logistics. The state wants quarterly reports. We do quarterly reports for the last 2 years. And financial tracking for reimbursement, which was pretty much an accounting job, which I actually needed the help of some of the accounting folks to help me out. Additionally to that big accomplishment, we got an ADA certified ramp built on the west side. Courtesy to go to thank Rich Lipsky for that. And Dave was Dave contracted that one. Dave we had a water heater replaced. We had a outdoor spade installed. There were donations of a sound system, a PA system, and keyboard was donated for the use of any music events we might have. We talked about the security guard. Display case and furniture acquisition, repair, and preservation. We try to assess is this structure okay? Is it safe for somebody to touch? Some of these cases are very old and way to maybe replace them or make them safe. Let's see, and we're peripherally involved in our artifact repair and preservation, which is, a piece of furniture that might need some structural help. We try to help with. As far as what we do for the community, we talked a little bit about this. Some of the buildings that we've been asked to participate in, Jim usually gets a phone call, and he asks one or two of us to come with him and to have more eyes, ears, and hands on the building. To look at the architectural fixtures. We looked at the Glen Farm barns to see if there are any artifacts in there that might be good for the society. We had a nice tour of 697 Middle Road, and I don't know what that building is called. What's the It's a 1780s building. And the Artist Fish House, which is the Glen Road House that myself and Dave went through, we were able to grab the mantle and a few doors out of that, just for preservation in case we wanted to display those or something. And we talked about the house plaque project. This is feasibility for design and selection and placement on buildings. It's discussing what the sign will look like, making sure it's in theme with the house, making sure the script is in consonance with what the owners want. And we're thinking about a line of maybe having some kind of plan to, a lottery or something to get people involved, see if they want to put plaques in the houses. Okay, nice. What we want to do in the future, I call it near future, which is reality, and this is the wish list. As far as the near future, we're trying to get store windows for the museum to preserve the nice painted windows we have. Partial or full town hall roof replacement. That's the next thing we're going to try to do. We're also trying to get environmental and temperature and humidity control for some storage areas. We have folks that have collections in our existing collection that we want to try to get the best temperature and humidity control for. Maybe take one or two rooms, or maybe even the whole museum, and try to make it environmentally safe for the stuff that we store, so it will last for future generations. I call it the wish list, which is beyond 2018, and like Gary had said, it might be 1, 2, 3, 5 years down the line. We're looking at a security alarm upgrade. We are seeking grants and quotes for an ADA compliant bathroom on the first floor, so that we can at least get the first floor. We can say it's ADA compliant. Winter heating for the second floor, and Gary had touched on that, where if you heat the upstairs building, you can have winter events. So, and finally on the wish list is an ADA compliant lift or elevator for second floor access, which we've been kicking around different ideas for. So, again, we are PortsmouthHistorical.org, and anybody that is handy, or you don't have to be handy, but if you feel like you want to get involved with helping out on building the facilities, the artifacts, give me a call. Any questions?
I have a question, but I'd like to compliment the choice of colors and execution of the painting of this building. I think it's absolutely fabulous.
Well, in light of what you're saying, we went to our president emeritus, Herbert Hall, who is kind of like the historical encyclopedia. He's got a good memory. And we pretty much said, can you remember what was what? And he gave us a lot of insight into what the paint was 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. So that helped us. That helped us with the input we needed to make a choice that was in theme with the building, but it still had to be aesthetically pleasing. We try to keep in theme with the building, and he was probably the closest historic point of reference we had. So thank you. Glad you like the calls. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Busy man, busy committee. They do a lot. It's really good. One of the things that we asked Herbert about too was the idea that and it's a hot item for me that we'll never be able to afford, but this building had a bell tower on it at one point that was pretty much destroyed by the 1938 hurricane. And it would be sort of like the Methodist church up the street here. It would be really cool to have that bell tower up on top of this building. And back to one thing, we were talking about lifetime members. We have had lifetime members. We used to have a program for that, which we don't have anymore. I'm a lifetime member. I've been here since 1973. So I forget even how it came about, but anyway, I'm a lifetime member. So we have a couple still of us old timers still around. Okay, next I would like to call on Nancy Crawford, who is the head of our curator committee. She has a great team of people that work with her, and I'll let her come up and hold the microphone for a while.
I am the curator and the docent activity coordinator. So I will speak about both subjects, probably not too lengthy, I hope. I would like to introduce my curator committee that's here. If you would stand up when I say your name and just wait until I'm done, I would appreciate it, because everyone needs to give you a round of applause and thanks, because you all did a wonderful job at the end of last year, through the summer last year, and into the beginning of this season. We had to take the whole museum apart and put it back together, and they all contributed many hours and much effort to that. So we have Gloria and Richard Schmidt right here. We have Marge Webster. Where are you, Marge? In the back. We have Lois Ryan.
She just went down.
Oh, okay. We have Ann Burns, Ann Norbert Ann Burns. We have Nancy Smith, who must have also gone downstairs. Jen Nelson, who is Doug and Nancy's daughter, has been helping us. And we have Kari Darmiano, who's not here. And also Joanna Hall, who's not here. She has a serious health issue to deal with right now. So I would like to thank you all. I really appreciate your efforts, and more work to do. The thing that we didn't quite complete it last year, but we did do an inventory of the museum downstairs. We did not get to the storerooms, nor the church up here, nor the town hall, which we hope to do this summer. We had found numerous lists of items in the museum. Unfortunately, none of those lists got to the point where they were compiled into what they call a registration, so that you could find the things that were on the list. That's what we hope to do soon. It might be 2 or 3 years before we get to that point, but we would like to do that. It's important. I read a book recently, and it said the purpose of an archive is to create a registration process that will allow, quote, the museum to produce any object from its collection, from any document picked at random from the registration. So it would be so great to be able to do that, for somebody to come in and say, do you have something about my grandfather, and go exactly to it. Now, our archive right now is Gloria and Marge's brains. That's where our archive is. They know everything. This is only my 3rd season. I don't know much. I'm learning. But they really know. I mean, you can ask them something, and they'll go somewhere and find it in a cabinet and bring it out. And there it is. So they have our archive presently, but we really need an archive that other people can access going forward. So anyone who comes in and is looking for something would be able to find it. And that's my goal. Hopefully it will happen not too far from now. Okay. During our inventory, we found several interesting things that came to light, which were in the museum and were on one or more of the lists that we found. I don't know how many lists we found. I think at least 7 or 8. And they all had started at various times, ended at various times. Some of them were similar, some of them were not. Some of them had things that were not on the others. So we're trying to get those all together in a new inventory. But when we were doing that, one of the things we came across was an inlaid snuff box that was reportedly owned by Colonel William Barton. I had little pieces of something in it. We took it apart, and it turned out that those were tiles that made an inlaid cover. So we put that back together. I have a few things over there for you to look at that we found or acquired. One of the things is Colonel Barton's snuff box. So on your way out, if you'd just like to kind of walk by that little table, you will see the things that I'm speaking about. Another is a little grease lamp that has a hook on the front, very interesting little contraption, has a wick that comes out, and according to research that Kari did during the Civil War or during the early coal mining days, the coal miners would have attached this onto their soft caps and lit it so that they could see what they were doing in the coal mine. I'm not sure how many of them came out of the coal mine, but anyway, that's what was supposedly the purpose of that. So that's over there. And the third thing we found was a men's shoe buckle from the early 1800s, which is silver. And it's kind of an interesting artifact over there. We also, and I think the most important find that I saw was we found an original invitation to the dedication of the town hall dated January 1st, 1846. It's in perfect condition. You can read it. It's wonderful. So, I think that gives us a very good idea of when the town hall was completed. We've always said mid-century, mid-1850s, but that seems to tell us that it was probably 1846 or close to it. So I was thrilled when I found that. We also got some great acquisitions. We got deeds from the Sea Meadow Farms properties dated 1859, 1860, and 1873. They were donated by Eli Dundas, who was the developer of Sea Meadow Farms, the most recent developments down there. And they showed the transfer of the properties from the Holman families to the Sherman families at those various times. Very interesting and exciting to have. We also received a lovely little book of watercolors that were done by an ancestor of the girl who brought them in. Her family were the Bordens and the Lawrences. So it's a lovely little book of watercolor sketches. And Richard Cosen gave us a copy of the 1879 bylaws of the Union Cemetery, which is also over there. So if you want to take a quick little look on your way out, these are the things that we do on the curator committee. We get very excited about silly things. We're museum geeks, so that's okay. Of course, as Michael talked about the painting, while the painting was going on outside, we had a whole season last year of people coming and going with the scaffolding and whatever was going on. That was fine. But then come the end of the season, and it was time to paint the interior. So everything in the museum, again, had to be packed up and moved one way or another. So we had yeoman's work to get that done. But it did get done. It was a little bit scary that when we unpacked, things were going to be in the same condition that they were when we put them in there, and they seemed to be when we unpacked them. So I think it was a successful venture. The painting took longer than we thought. We had rented the pod thinking it was going to be maybe 2 months, maybe 6 weeks, but it turned out to be much longer than that, so we couldn't unpack until much later than we thought. But as soon as we could get into the building, it was warm enough, and we could get in, we did it, and that was fine. It took a while, but we did it. At the same time, we were getting ready for our seasonal exhibit, which happens in this museum every summer. And this year's exhibit was a slice of Portsmouth life, observations from the diaries of David Durfee Sherman. David was a lifelong resident of Portsmouth who kept a diary of his everyday activities, small and large. He was a young man of many talents. He walked to Swansea to sell books. He sewed mittens, and he helped build a dam at the Glen. So it seemed to be that many things that were happening in Portsmouth he was involved in and wrote about in his little diaries. Very interesting. He lived here for many years, went off to the Civil War, came back, and he died in 1668. A picture of his wife, 1860, I'm sorry, what did I say, 50? Oh. Well, that would have been quite a chore, wouldn't it? So, 1868, sorry. A picture of his wife is included in the display that's downstairs called A Child's Life. His wife, Cynthia's picture is in that display. His own picture is in the Civil War display out in the town hall. So you can see what he looked like. And in 2017, we were awarded a grant from the Rhode Island Historical Society to purchase 2 large cabinets to contain some of our document collection. So we're trying to move those into those more secure cabinets gradually. Okay, that's it. That's it for the curators. Does anybody have any questions before I go on? No? Okay. As docent coordinator, we have 200 visitors over the season, over 21 Sundays. So they were usually, 10, 15, maybe sometimes 4 or 5 people here, but there was always somebody on one of the Sundays. And I would like to have the docents stand up if they'd like to. I'm not going to mention everybody's name because we have a gang, but if everybody would just stand up quickly if you're a docent, just so everybody can see you. You can see it's most of the board. And we'll go. Thank you all very much. Thank you all very much. One thing I would like to ask, if anyone's interested, I know some people don't like to guide or like to do a lot of talking, but I would really much like it if we could have someone to sit at the front desk every Sunday, maybe not the same person necessarily, but greet people as they come in, make sure they sign the guest book, and welcome them to the museum so that our docents could then go off and do their guidings, talk about various parts of the exhibit without worrying about watching the door to see if somebody's coming in. And then if we take somebody upstairs, what's going to happen to the people that are downstairs? So I would really like that to happen, but it would have to be somebody who's going to volunteer to do that. It wouldn't be a hard chore. It would just be sitting in one place most of the time and reading people and talking to them and chatting as they come in. So if anybody's interested, let me know. I'd be more than happy to have you do that. The last thing I'd like to say, and this I guess is more curator than docent, but if anyone has any items that they feel that they would like to donate to the museum, we'd be more than happy to have them. We have so many items that are really interesting, which you don't get to see because they're in cases, and occasionally when we do exhibits, we can pull some things together and it makes them easier for you to see. But if we can get more items, we can do more displays, and we can incorporate many of the items into our displays. The only problem is when we get items, we cannot necessarily display them immediately, but hopefully we can display them at some point. I am particularly curious about 4-H and the Grange. I just think that it must have been a very important part of Portsmouth history because it was a farming community. 4-H is definitely a farming group, as is Grange. So if anybody knows anyone who has any artifacts dealing with 4-H and Grange, and also someone mentioned Girl Scouts at one point, that might be good too. Everybody, I guess, knows Jolly Earl. So she was big in Girl Scouts in Portsmouth for a long time. Okay, and also I am anxious to create a display for the Black Regiment. So if anyone has anything or any connections with anyone who has anything, because we have nothing, and we would really, it's a very important part of Portsmouth history, the Battle of Rhode Island, which included the Black Regiment, and I really would like to do that. So, okay, I'm looking forward to a successful 2018. Thank you very much. Yes,
the independent displays of libraries. We've taken some of the displays when we're finished with them here and set them up in the library. So we try to continue them. So
right.
Remind people if they see that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, there's nothing there now.
Well, we're getting ready to put it in.
Yes. What we normally do at the end of the season, we take that season's display because we're closed, and we put parts of it at the library. Maybe not the whole thing, but at least parts of it. So right now, we had taken down last year's, and we haven't figured out what to put in for this coming season. There are some other people that wanted to use those cases for some things, so we're kind of discussing what we need to do with that. But hopefully you will see some of our artifacts at the library again sometime soon. Thank you very much.
I have a surprise for the curators based on what Nancy was just saying. I went to the post office this morning to open the mail, and in the mailbox was a key. And the key, they give you a key when something's too big to put in the mailbox. So I went down to the other box and opened up the key. And as of today, we got from a woman by the name of Mrs. Fontaine, who lived over on Sprague Street, 82 postcards of the hurricanes of 38 and 54. Really cool. They're real photo postcards. Some of them you've seen commonly. They're around and they have labels on them. And Island Park, a lot of them are from that. But most of them are not identified, but they're all Newport County. And it's really a treasure trove. And I've looked through them once, but I'm going to look through them again before you guys get them. But I think that, they're really special. Plus, I already have a collection of aftermath of both those hurricanes myself, and I lecture on that once in a while. Anyway, we're getting late here. We got to run out, don't want to run out of time. So I would call on Rich Talipsky, our AV coordinator, who does a whole bunch of stuff for this organization, including videoing this for what, local access TV or, I don't know, where you put this.
Yeah, I'm the video guy, and what we do is we videotape all these, and we put them all on YouTube. So all our videos are available on YouTube. We put them on Portsmouth This Week TV, so they're available. On our website, there's a thing called Video Theater, that all our videos are there. On our town website, it's all the videos we've ever done on the town website. This is a little handout. If you didn't get one, there's ones on the chair and back. It's a little thing that shows you what are the different places where we put all the places where we, our repositories of Portsmouth. Okay, so go to the next slide. First of all, we have our PortsmouthHistorical.org website. And this has a wealth of information. It was originally developed by Gloria Schmidt as PortsmouthHistorical.com. And we took all that and we developed a new website that we have been putting information on. So there's all kinds of information. If you look on the back of your sheet, I made a little list of types of things you can get. You can see on our website. It's kind of a web map. Okay, so go to the website. Some people say there's too many menu items, but I try to make it so you can be easy to find different things. There are all kinds of things on there, so go and take a look at it. Go to the next page. On the front page of our website, we have a lot of things. It's a little bit busy, but first of all, we have a little slideshow where all our major sponsors are shown on there. All our major supporters, and anybody who is given more than a contributing member or a patron member, comes up in the scrolling thing there. Okay, we have a thing that has news posts on there. You can see the Historical Society selecting Business of the Year. Also, we have a rotating slideshow that has all the various committees we have and the information. This rotates so people come on and they can see where they can go and help. Okay, next one. When I went to develop our new PortsmouthHistorical.org website, I said, where are all the things posted on Portsmouth history? And you could do one thing. You could put it all on one website, or you could just point people to where the things are in various websites. So we got together with the 375th committee, and the Portsmouth History Project actually manages the internet service provider for us. We piggyback on it. And we have a thing called the Portsmouth History Center, portsmouthhistorycenter.org. And what this does is if you click on any of this, you get to the various websites that have Portsmouth history. So this is our Portsmouth Historical Society, but the Portsmouth Library also has a lot of things. So you click on there, you can get to the Portsmouth Library. The 375th website has all the information that went on in the 375th. We have a thing that Gary Jump started, and we started when we first made our, during the 375th, when we had our visit in England. It's called the Portsmouth Atlantic Compact. And that is a coalition of all the Portsmouth that are on the Atlantic Ocean. We have a website there. We have partnered with a company called Digital Art that does archiving of documents to library standards. And we have an archive where some of the more important documents that we have are digitized professionally, and that's there. There's a John Pierce collection that's in the library. You can get it there. All of Jim Garvin's lectures, he's 375th on here, and the History Center project that was is ongoing actually. When we had the 375th, we got donations up to about $24,000, which is in a separate library account that we use to help Portsmouth history. Next one. Okay, we also have our Facebook page. contribute, but anybody can contribute and like that page. So remember that, it's Portsmouth Historical Society on Facebook. And one other thing that we have, next slide, is Gloria Schmidt's Portsmouth History Notes. This is a wonderful resource where she pulls out little bits of information about Portsmouth history. And you can get to it either on our website and click or go directly to Portsmouth History Notes. A couple other things that we have had donated to us. One was John McMahon donated 3 laptop computers and 1 new desktop computer going out. And also Bob Hamilton donated the large screen display that we're really out there. So thank you for all those people. And I'd like to make a personal thanks. Being a member of the Navy Choristers, I'd like to congratulate the Portsmouth Historical Society for the concert that was done last December. We blew the town away. It was one of the great Portsmouth community events of the year. And the Choristers are going to have another concert at St. Barnabas in December to support the library auditorium renovation project. So, more on that later. But thanks very much.
Thank you, Rich. There's lots going on, as you can see. And in conclusion, we really appreciate all of your support. We hope that you can spread the word about the great things that the Portsmouth Historical Society is doing. We're hustling, as you may be able to tell. And we really appreciate everything that everybody on the board does. It's a really working board, and people who also work as curators and docents as well. It's really a wonderful opportunity to show off the Portsmouth history that we are so proud of. So thank you all for coming. We have great refreshments downstairs. We hope you'll take some time. Check out Nancy's display over here, and also the display, the annual display that's downstairs right around where the refreshments are. So please enjoy. Thank you again for coming.
You mentioned the bell tower. Was there a bell up there, or if so, any idea where it is now?
No. Now, we have some school bells out in the schoolhouse out here, but we don't have a church bell. Not that I know of, anyway. I don't think so. I don't know.
No, and I don't think there was anything in the church records.
Just about the time of the 38 hurricane, the church here went out of business. They turned it over to the Historic Society in 1939. Anyway, thanks again. Good night.